All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Tuesday morning Inner Circle Live session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. I hope everybody's doing well today. Hope everybody had a great Monday, great start to your week. And we're going to dive in. So, as always, let's turn off all distractions, prepare your minds and your bodies to engage as you guys always do. And for the courtesy of everybody on the call, please ensure that your mic is muted if you're not actively asking a question or making a comment. All right. So if you missed Mindset Monday yesterday, strongly suggest you going back and checking it out. Issued a challenge to the team regarding your goals and how we're going to start to shift our mindset on what we're doing, where we're going, and how we stay focused on where we're going and why. All right. So if you missed that, definitely go back and check that out. We'll continue to build on that thought as we move through the next few weeks. All right. So let's dive in. We'll take a look at some fundamentals. We will then dive into the charts. We'll look at take a look at some euro pairs. We'll take a look at the New Zealand pairs to prepare for tonight in that rate statement, see how things play out. And we'll take a look at some Canadian dollar pairs as well, because there's a rate statement coming tomorrow for the CAD. All right. So drop me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. And if you can see my trading economics screen. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I think everybody has access to the mic. So let's get to it, man. We're going to just roll through this news section here. So I want to give you guys a mental framework of where the market is. So hopefully you guys catch this. European shares extend losses for second session. European equity markets traded lower on Tuesday, with German DAX down more than 0.5% after a 1.4% drop in the previous session, as data showed investors' confidence in Europe's largest economy tumbled to the lowest since 2011. The US CPI report is due tomorrow and is seen pointing to a rise in inflation to near 9%. Meanwhile, ongoing energy crisis concerns the Nord Stream Stream 1 shutdown could be extended, and rising COVID cases in China. And Joy posted that article for us in the Facebook group, also weighing on investors' mood across sectors. Automakers and miners are among the worst performers, while utilities rose. All right. So then we have the previous article noted this: European investor morale slips to the lowest since 2011. The ZW indicator of economic sentiment for the euro area plunged to negative 53.8 in July 2022 from negative 28 in the previous month. It was the lowest reading since December 2011, as the economic outlook is expected to worsen amid ongoing concerns about the energy crisis in Europe, the ECB's looming hawkish stance, and fresh pandemic restrictions in China. At the same time, the indicator of the current economic situation slipped by 18 points to negative 44.4, while inflation expectations rose by 6.8 points to 25.6. Okay. Hold on 1 second. All right. German investor morale tumbles to 10-year low, again, which this is noting at or pointing to. Tumbled to 53.8 in July from 28 in June, low since December 2011. Okay. Tons of concern in the market, right? So as we keep rolling through, we got UK shares fall. So when they're talking about shares, they're talking about from a stock market perspective, right? From a stock market perspective. So the correlation is when the stock market decreases, generally your or in theory, your currency would have an inverse reaction, right? But we'll see the correlation when we get to the charts. We'll see why this is happening. The FTSE 100 fell 0.5% on Tuesday, with the industrial metals and mining index down more than 2% as copper prices slipped further on worries over rising COVID cases in China. In addition, data from the British Retail Consortium showed UK sales volumes are falling to a rate not seen since the depths of the pandemic, as inflation continues to bite and households cut back on spending. Investors await the monthly GDP figures to be released on Wednesday and are expected to show economy stalled in May, strengthening expectations of an economic contraction in the second quarter. All right, we keep rolling through. And we got Chinese Yuan falls on COVID concerns. The offshore Yuan depreciated past $6.72 per dollar, hitting the lowest levels in nearly a month as a resurgence of COVID-19 outbreak raises fears of stricter lockdowns and wider economic disruption in China. About 30 million people in China are under some form of movement restrictions as the country grapples with recurring outbreaks, with highly contagious Omicron subvariant being detected in Shanghai. This could hamper the country's economic recovery and push authorities to introduce more accommodative policies. The yuan also weakened as riskier currencies came under pressure from the Federal Reserve's aggressive tightening plans and an escalating risk of global recession. The euro continued to depreciate to 1.0005, edging closer to dollar parity. First time in 20 years as energy crisis increases the risk of a recession, while the greenback was boosted by safe haven demand. The key gas pipeline Nord Stream 1 started its annual maintenance on July 11th, and flows are expected to stop for 10 days. But concerns linger. Supply may not return to current levels after the works. Meanwhile, the ECB is highly expected to raise interest rates by 25 basis points later this month for the first time in 11 years, while the Federal Reserve is seen delivering a 75 basis point hike following a cumulative 150 basis point increase since March, right? We keep rolling. We talked about the euro. Oil extends drop on demand concerns. WTI crude futures fell almost 3% below $102 per barrel on Tuesday, extending losses from the previous session as fresh COVID-19 curbs in top importer China and mounting fears of global economic slowdown weigh on the market. About 30 million people in China under some sort of movement restrictions as the country grapples with the resurgence of the virus outbreak. With highly contagious Omicron variant detected in Shanghai, oil prices have been declining since mid-June on recession fears as central banks race ahead with aggressive rate hikes to combat surging inflation. Moreover, President Joe Biden is set to visit Saudi Arabia this week amid efforts to bring down energy prices. Meanwhile, persistent supply concerns keep markets on edge as major producers are limited by capacity restraints, while Russia's supply remains mired by sanctions to invasion in Ukraine. All right. New Zealand dollar closed almost flat at 11,103 on Tuesday as traders await the Reserve Bank of New Zealand's monetary policy decision on Wednesday. The central bank is expected to raise the cash rate by another 50 basis points to 2.5% after hiking a total of 225 basis points since October of last year amid persistently high inflation. In the U.S., Consumer price data for June will be released on Wednesday, with market expected the figure accelerating further to 8.8% after hitting its highest since December 1981 at 8.6 in May. Traders continue to follow China's ongoing battle to contain COVID-19 cases. Several cities adopted fresh measures. ME Tuesday Limited jumped 30.8%, while Limited and Pesos Limited gained 11.1% and 7.7%. Each decline we're seeing in good spirits. We're seeing for good spirits hospitality and some more stocks there, right? So they're looking at a 50 basis point hike, but a lot of that is already priced into the market as well. So we'll see how that impact goes. And then the last one, Australian shares inch up in volatile trade. S&P ASX 200 index inched up 0.06% to close at 6,606 on Tuesday, giving back much of the gains from earlier in the session. As advances in the energy and financial sectors it was countered by declines in technology and clean energy related stocks. Investors also assessed latest data showing Australia consumer and business sentiments declined as surging costs, rising interest rates darkened the overall outlook. Australian banks outperformed the market with gains in Commonwealth Bank, Westpac, and ANZ Bank. Oil and coal stocks also advanced amid disruptions of global energy trade flows, including Westwood Energy and Whitehaven. Meanwhile, growth-oriented technology and clean energy-related names declined as investors braced for U.S. inflation data that could bolster the Federal Reserve's aggressive tightening plans. So I wanted to go through all those because there's a theme. There's a theme. Did anybody catch the theme? You guys can talk to me.
Seems like there's uncertainty everywhere.
Uncertainty everywhere. Uncertainty everywhere, right? Uncertainty and fear of recession, right? So that means if there's uncertainty in the market, investors look for safe places to put their money, right? Safe places, safe haven currencies for the most part, right? Hence the dollar, Japanese yen. So that's what we're seeing across the market. That's the sentiment. There's fear and doubt in the market, right? You've been here all the time. The market is driven on fear and greed, right? So that gives us the backdrop for looking at the charts and where things could fall, right? So we'll keep our eyes peeled to keep that at the back of our mind as we move through. All right. So just real quick, these were noted. So today we got, or tonight, which is next trading day, New Zealand dollar cash rate coming in at 10 p.m. This evening, Eastern Standard Time, and it'll be morning for folks on the other side of the pond. So on Wednesday, we also have CPI data for the United States. Then on Wednesday as well, we have Bank of Canada rate statement, which will also come in and give us a potential movement there. We got crude oil inventories also tomorrow morning. Bank of Canada press conference at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Unemployment rate and employment change for the Aussie at 9:30 p.m. tomorrow night. Then on Thursday, we got PPI data, producer price index for the United States, and GDP for China. Then on Friday, we have core retail sales and retail sales for the United States and consumer sentiment. All right, so pretty busy week, as we noted over the weekend. Got a lot happening, a lot shaking, right? So we'll keep our eyes peeled. Could have a decent amount of volatility in the market give us some great opportunities. All right, so we're going to dive into the charts now. We'll take a look at, like I said, we'll take a look at some euro pairs. We'll take a look at some Canadian dollar pairs. We'll take a look at some New Zealand pairs, and then we'll take a quick look to get an update on these yen crosses that are moving through. All right, so let's get to it. We'll start with these Canadian dollar pairs real quick. So CAD Swiss. This is an interesting one, right? From a daily time frame perspective, right? We got a 38.2% retracement. Price pushed up, could not quite get to the D extension. Gave us a double top here at this daily resistance and pressed down. Strong bearish movement. And now we're getting these retracements, right? As we saw over the weekend, we're getting retracements, plan to get retracements on all of the Swiss franc pairs, right? So through last week and through the beginning of this week, these Swissy pairs are pulling back, right? After some strong bearish movement, okay? So we got price pulling back, pushed back above this daily support level and headed towards this weekly was support and previous resistance, right? So we got some levels coming in here. We'll see as price moves throughout the day to see if we get another push to the upside, right? We also do have to keep in mind that oil is retracing as well, okay? Actually, before I get too deep into this CAD Swiss, we'll take a look at the dollar and oil so we get a mental framework of where things are. So I apologize for that switch, but we're gonna do that real quick. US dollar, right? It's on the 4-hour chart. We'll go back to the daily. We're pushing. We only got a 23.6 retracement off the daily fib, okay? And we're trying to push above, right, this cluster of daily resistance levels, right? This resistance comes all the way back to here, okay? Back in 2002. Okay, so hasn't been in this space in a very long time, right? And dollar's trying to push above, got a strong bullish candle pushing us into it. Now we're getting a little bit of indecision as we're coming into the day today and preparing for tomorrow, right? This daily D extension is not far away, but we got another level of resistance to work through as well, okay? So the dollar is still the raging bull, right? The dollar is being used as that safe haven for the uncertainty in the market, okay? So as things continue to progress and as the market gets more and more uncertain, we could see the dollar continue to press forward, right? So right now the dollar is pressing to the upside. We're getting some stalling right now. We'll see if we're able to close bullish above these this cluster of daily resistance. If we are, we'll likely get to this 618 extension level relatively soon, okay? So that's the daily look on the dollar. We'll drop to 4, and this is where we'll stop on the dollar just to give us a full framework of where we sit, all right? So we'll run our fib from the low, not that one. There we go. All right, and on the 4, another scenario, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. That's where we run into these daily clusters. On the 4-hour, we've closed above it, but it's starting to get choppy, right? So we want to see bullish movement here and press above if it's going to stay above. If not, and we see it come back and close below, right, we could see a nice retracement occur on the dollar coming back to this monthly level, okay? But if we stay above this daily cluster, we'll continue to inch our way up and make it to that D extension on the 4-hour as well, okay? So we got bullish movement on the dollar with the uncertainty, and we could continue to see that as we move through the week, all right? So that's the dollar. And then oil, this is from a weekly perspective, see it pressing down, right? And so we're in this range on oil. We were in this range for a while, pushed out and came right back to it. And we're trying to press down, got this cluster of support levels that we're just ranging through. From a weekly perspective, we drop to the daily, see it a little bit closer, all right? So we could continue to head lower on oil. We'll see. But we could be in this range from 92.88 through this 108 level. We could stick in this range for a little while as things continue to bounce back and forth with COVID in China, oil supply, along with the construction that's happening on the Nord pipeline. If that construction lingers on, we could see this flip, right? So 10 days or so, we could see this flip and push back to the upside, because now there is at that point, we could be in a situation where the supply is low, right? So we're going to continue to see this back and forth on oil for a little bit as investors try to figure things out and see where the uncertainty falls when it comes to interest rate conversations with the United States, right? So oil hovering, pulling back, pressing down. We could get down to this 92.88 level, right? And retest the lows here at an 8.6 retracement. And then we could see a bounce from there. So continue to watch this and continue to just play what you see. If you're trading this on the lower time frames, I know Desi is all over this pair, watching the back and forth as it goes. All right. So pressing down now. He said we could come back to that 92.88 level before we see some evening out and a potential reversal. All right. So any questions on the dollar or oil?
Hey Ryan, do you think
Yo.
the talks with them trying to get Saudi to produce more and the close of that pipeline will cause any catalyst?
So the talks with Saudi Arabia have been ongoing for quite some time. And Saudi Arabia, it's interesting, but this conversation is going back and forth, and they haven't been able to come to an agreement. These conversations have been had multiple times over the past 6 months, and they keep hinting at it, but there's not very much progress. There hasn't been any progress ever. So the other thing is the amount that they're producing. They're already, they said it, I believe it was last month, that they were at capacity already, right? Or near capacity. So they don't have much more that they can produce to bring to the table, unless they invested in infrastructure elsewhere, right? But the way it currently stands, there isn't much that can be done based on the reports from last month. So I don't think the action will follow the conversation. I think it's just this is going to sound bad, but I think it's just use of the media to keep things at bay. That's what I think it is. They could surprise me. They could come back with some amazing agreements, but I don't think so based on what we've seen in recent history. The Nord pipeline, if that construction is extended out, ultimately that could decrease supply longer than anticipated. If that supply is decreased, right, and then if somehow China reverses their stance and says their lockdown they're easing up on it because things aren't as bad as they initially thought in 10 or 12 days, 13 days, 15 days, now you have a potential increase in demand, right? With a potential decrease in supply of the pipeline being shut down, we could see then oil push back to the upside. So that could be a scenario if the supply is cut off for an extended period of time, or if they're not able to get back to the previous levels of supply that they have been after the construction. So that's kind of how I see it. That makes sense?
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Des.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Desi, what are your thoughts on this oil thing?
I don't know. I think they're just fluffing us right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just, I was in a buy. I got out and I am just looking. I'm on the sideline.
No doubt. You took this reversal here.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to
Actually, I have
32.
this fib coming down this sell fib. So I'm looking at it going down to the D extension.
Oh, okay. Down here at 86.
Yeah. Yeah.
87. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see. Definitely could.
This
Definitely
look like it's mimicking like how Cat J look like.
Yeah, we're gonna look at it.
Oh, I wasn't rushing, but it was just
No. But you're spot on, right?
Okay.
Because oil tied to the Canadian dollar, right? You see some similarities, right? You see some similarities. So if oil continues to press down, even with the Canadian dollar coming in with a rate increase, right, potentially 50 basis points, I believe, we could see some of that action be a little muted because of the other pieces at play, right? So you're spot on what you're seeing. Spot on what you're seeing. All right.
So
Great
we'll
work.
just watch it.
Yeah, we'll just watch it. We'll just watch it and let like I said, it didn't give us a deep retracement here on the 1 or the 4. So just watch it and see where it settles in, right?
Yeah.
Definitely could come down to this 87 level. If it does, if it breaks that weekly level, we could potentially see a deeper push, right? There's not much stopping it. We got a daily level here, but not a ton in the way for it to fall further. So we'll watch it and see what happens. We'll watch it and see what happens as it approaches this weekly level, see if it settles out. If it doesn't, press us down, likely we'll get back to this A boundary, potentially take it out. And then that could exacerbate things at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't go back down to where it was below 0.
So listen, if it goes back to 0, I'm going to take it. I'm going to buy everything and I'm going to sit in it this time. Benny and I talk about this all the time, but he and I both were in trades and I believe purchased, right, shares in some of the oil companies as oil pressed down to below 0 the last time. And I ended up closing my trade and selling my shares, right? I was in around $1
Wow.
on a couple of the shares that I bought, and I closed them out around $20. You know what I mean? And not anticipating all of this. So if that happens again, trust and believe. I'm buying a lot and I'm sitting there.
I hear you.
Because it won't stay there forever. It won't stay there forever. So yeah. So cool deal. So that's where we stand on oil. All right. So let's hop back over to this cash Swiss. Okay. So pressing up, right? Starting to get some indecision here on the daily time frame. Nice retracement off of this move down, right? So overall, again, we got daily D extension here. So if oil does flip and we get a push, and if the Bank of Canada comes in more hawkish than expected, right, we could see this push higher and get to that daily D extension. If they don't, and if investors have already priced everything in, we could see this stay muted and potentially turn back to the downside with more of a risk-off sentiment and capital potentially moving into the Swissy. All right. So we'll monitor this one to see how it plays out through the day today and tomorrow to see if we get a turnover and a press down or we get a continued press to the upside. All right. So as we go to the 4, on the 4, right, haven't quite gotten to our sweet spot yet, right, but it's pressing. So we could see this continue to press higher to get to these previous weekly levels in the 618-786 zone that started this breakdown to the downside, right? So we'd love for price to continue making its way to the upside here, right, getting us to that 618 level, and then we'll monitor to see if we get a flip back to the downside. Okay, so stay patient here. We broke those trend lines, so we'll take them out, and we'll just continue to monitor this one to the upside in this retracement. Okay, so if you're not in this, sit tight and allow it to do what it's going to do. Drop your trend lines in and wait. Benny says all time, patience is action, right? So allow this thing to make its way. And then once we start to get some consolidation at in our sweet spot in conjunction with some of these levels potentially, then we'll see if we get a reversal. If not, allow that thing to keep pushing, right? We could get some retracements and then continuation if the Bank of Canada comes in extremely hawkish tomorrow. All right, so we'll continue to sit and watch that one as it presses. CAD Yen, any questions on this CAD Swiss?
Yes, quick question.
Yes.
This is a newbie here. Okay, so you removed those trend lines because initially it was going down.
Yep.
And it broke the trend line, letting you know you've got price reversing.
Bingo.
Okay.
Right, because the trend line tells you direction and momentum, right? So we use those to be able to identify our entries, right? So we had trend lines running to the downside. We had our consolidation, right? So here we got price consolidate. We got a bullish break of it here, a little bit more consolidation, and then price started making its way to the upside. Okay, so with that, we say, okay, price is moving to the upside. It broke our inner trend line. So it tells us direction and momentum have shifted, right? And then it made its way to the outer trend line, which it's stalling at right now. And we could get a break and continuation to the upside, right? So with the trend line being broken, it's already been broken. So it won't tell us anything going forward, right? So we can remove it because it's already been broken. If you want to keep this one as price stalls, you can. But I'm more interested to see now as price has started to move to the upside and moving closer to our sweet spots, right? I'm more interested to see when that direction momentum shifts again, right? If it does. So we'll drop those trend lines in going to the upside because now we have this reversal happening, moving into our sweet spots. So these trend lines will tell us when the direction and momentum shifts again. That makes sense?
Got it. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Good question.
Hey, Ryan, can you hear me?
Yes. Bradley, what's up?
Not much. Just a question, just in general regarding your support and resistance. Like when I click on smart support, smart resistance, it's giving me, I guess, all of the latest levels. But I see a lot of yours are different than mine. I'm just wondering, like, are you holding on to some old ones?
Yeah.
And if so, like, when do you get rid of them?
So I haven't updated my charts yet. Generally, I do it monthly. End of last month was crazy for me, so I haven't had a chance to update my charts.
Okay.
But generally, I do them monthly. Or if I have some relevant levels, sometimes I'll do it quarterly. So, but I was supposed to update them at the end of last month. But the past 3 weeks or so have been pretty crazy for me. So haven't had a chance to sit down and redo them. But yes, they are older levels, right? So this was a support level here, right? Daily, this weekly level is still valid. And these weekly levels here come from back here.
So even on your daily, you're doing that generally per month.
Yeah, when I redo my charts, I'll clear them out and I'll start from scratch.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, no, it's good general rule of thumb to know.
Absolutely. And you'll find your cadence, right? You'll find what fits best for you, because some of these levels could still hold weight, right? But
yeah, they could be relevant, but not.
Yeah, they could
showing up
be.
on the smart indicator.
Exactly, right? So, but also price will tell you too, right? So as price moves, these levels have already been broken from the past, right? So as price moves, they could not hold weight today, right? So we'll see. So you'll find your cadence as you continue to do the work and continue to practice, right? As you move through, you'll find the cadence that fits best for you in regards to resetting your chart.
Okay. Yeah, man, cool. Thanks for the breakdown.
You're welcome. Any other questions on this CAD Swiss? No? Okay. Desi says she should do her charts weekly. And now she's moved to monthly, right? So you'll continue to evolve. When I first got started, I was marking up my charts every day. I clear them out and remark them, clear them out and remark them, just so I could continue to start to see and solidify and shift my thought process on how I saw them. And then as I got more comfortable, then I changed that to more of a weekly cadence, and then a monthly cadence, and then continued to evolve from there. So I said, you'll find it. You'll find it. Over to the CAD yen, right, which Joy hinted at. So look, on the daily time frame, shallow retracement, price pushed into the 118, 127 zone, and we've just been chopping, right? Chopping sideways, moving sideways the whole time, okay? So we got some levels that price has to break through. Take that out. Some levels that price has to break through, but we got this retracement here. We'll zoom in like so. Price pushed up to this previous daily level, right? We've been hovering around this zone for quite some time. And now look, price is pressing to the downside, right? So we're getting a reversal coming out of there, okay? So if we track this off the daily time frame, we got a little bit of ways to go, okay? Got a little bit of ways to go if we're able to come down to this 38.2 retracement level on the daily, okay? As if that happens, got a long way to go. We'll see. Got a lot of levels to break through, but that 38.2 is over 1,000 pips away, okay? So as we move to the 4, you can look at this in a couple different ways, right? So what I did is I copied my daily fib and I brought it down to the 4-hour time frame and the 1-hour time frame. Take a look at it from this perspective so I can monitor this move to the downside. Okay, that's one way you can do it. So literally just copying this fib off the daily, okay, and taking it down to your lower time frame. Okay, that's one option. And you can track it from a higher time frame perspective as price continues to move through. Okay. The other option that you can do is you can run your fibs here on the 4. Okay. We'll come back, right? And you can run your fibs here on the 4, right? This will give you a different look, different perspective, right? But check it out. So here you already got a 50% retracement on the 4-hour. Okay. Already got a 50% retracement. This is how Benny broke it down over the weekend, right? So if the Canadian dollar picks up the strength and we move out of this somewhat of a risk-off environment, right, we could see this continue to press to the upside and make its way to 118 and 127, ultimately this daily resistance level, okay? However, if we kind of still have this back and forth with investors being uncertain, we could see this continue to press to the downside. So we got two different ways to look at it, two different perspectives. Okay. Overall, the Canadian dollar is relatively strong, right? The Bank of Japan has not made any rate changes. They've been allowing the free market to do what the free market does. Okay. So that has lended to a lot of weakness overall for the Japanese yen. But as investors become more uncertain, we could see that tone start to shift a little bit and capital flow into the yen as a safe haven currency. Not saying the Bank of Japan is going to make any changes, but could see capital flow to the safe haven currency, right? So as we look at it, we got two different perspectives. Now, if you're using this fib as your guide, right, and you run your trend lines to the upside, if we get a break of this trend line to the downside, for me, if I was using this fib here, right, if we get a trend line break to the downside here, right, that would tell me, hey, momentum is shifting. I might need to look at shifting my perspective on this pair, right? If we get a break of this trend line, if price stays above this trend line, continues to inch to the upside, then price will continue inching to the upside and to stay above the trend line in a bullish fashion, right? Got these monthly levels here that price continues to run into, right? That's causing a little bit of hesitation, right? Also, you have the sentiment bouncing back and forth as well with oil, risk on, risk off, and those types of things. So tomorrow will be interesting to see how investors respond to the Bank of Canada's rate statement, right? And to see how the Bank of Canada comes in. If they come in extremely hawkish, we could see this turn around and press to the upside, right? If they come in as expected, we'll see how they respond. We could see this, right, continue to linger to the downside in favor of the yen. So we'll watch and see how it moves, right? But this trend line will be key if your bias on this is bullish to the upside in favor of the Canadian dollar, okay? So the other thing that I have on this chart, right? Like I said, I'm working from the daily fib and looking from a longer term perspective, right? So let's do this. There we go. We'll take these fibs out. So a third way to take a look at this, if I can, let's reset this real quick. The other option on this, right? So here we are on the 4, zooming in this range, right? Because this is just sideways movement, and just watching it, right? So overall, from the top of the range to the bottom of the range, we came back, tried to get to the top, and then we turned over and pressed down, right? So what I did is I ran a fib from the last high down just to monitor this move here. And we got a 8-6 retracement off that, right? 8-6 retracement, price is starting to turn over and press down. So if you look at it from a smaller wave perspective within the range, this is another way that you can look at this pair, right? And you can just zoom in and look for the potential reversal opportunity out of the smaller wave, right? Understanding that over the long term, right? Whether you're looking at it from a 4-hour perspective or you're looking at it from a daily perspective, knowing where you are because you looked at those time frames, right? You looked at the daily time frame, you see the price action, you know you're in a range with the potential for if price breaks above these monthly levels to continue higher, or if price breaks your trend lines to the downside for the opportunity for price to press lower. Okay. So you got multiple ways to look at this. And see what's happening in this movement here with this CAD yen. Joy, you talking about this area right here?
Yeah. Like right.
Yeah,
I mean,
I see where you're at. It took out that low with the wick, came back. I see you thinking there. I'm with that. It could be. Yeah.
because I had it drawn up, but then it's like when I seen your fib, I was trying to look to the left to see if it's still, and then I had kind of changed my mind.
Well, you got ABCD wave there, right? ABC if price continues to the downside. Yeah, I mean, I see exactly where it took out the low, right? Broke that daily level here, broke it, and then came back, retested the left tip. So yeah. Yep. Good eye. And that happens, right? Within consolidation, you get harmonic patterns to form. So that's what we're looking at, right? This was an inner trend line that I ran to the upside. You can bring another one to come here, like so, right? So now you're looking at this movement here. These are going to the outermost point of the consolidation, right? Originally, they would have come more inner like this, right? But as price is moving sideways, we shift those trend lines to the outermost point, right? So that's why those are shifted to the outermost point here. This inner trend line more aggressive here on the 4. We're starting to get a break now. We'll see if we get this continued breakdown to the downside. Overall, I am at this point bullish on yen crosses, right? So I'm looking for these yens to continue to gain steam and price to continue to move in favor of the yen with these crosses. So I'm bearish on this pair currently. And as I said, I'm looking at this overall daily fib and looking to see if we can get price action to continue to press to the downside and start to break through these levels, right? If we break this daily level and this weekly level, and we could be looking at more downside movement, and that'll be additional confirmation for me. And then I'll look for high prices to add to my trade, okay? But currently, we're starting to push to the downside. We'll see if that continues, right? We'll see how the market responds to the interest rate conversation coming tomorrow. Okay. Any questions here on this CAD yen? No. Okay. Benny, good morning, bro. You might still be busy.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody.
Glad you could join us, bro. How you hanging, man?
Oh man, doing good. Crazy busy morning.
Yeah.
But glad to be here for sure.
Still running around with the kids?
Man, you know it, just getting them ready. Sport physical time, you know.
No doubt.
Yep.
No doubt, man. Glad you could join us, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So that's the CAD yen. We'll keep rocking. Take a look at this Euro CAD. So from a daily time frame perspective, right? AB boundary, we got a 50% retracement, price pressure, the D extension. Bang, right? Blew through it, continued pressing down. We're coming into a monthly support level. Zoom out, right? Monthly support level coming in here, right? Price is overextended to the downside, coming into a key level. The extension hit on the daily time frame. So we need a swing low to form, right, for a new AB boundary, right, and a new fib to pop up here, okay? But we're at a key level coming into tomorrow, okay? So we'll continue to watch this from a daily time frame perspective, but I highlighted this zone for a reason, and you'll see as we move through the lower time frames. But it's a key level here, okay? Key level here for us to watch. So as we move down to the 4, right? Get down to the 4, this is what we have, right? We got a fresh AB boundary, shallow retracement, price pushed into the 118, 127 zone, and then came down to this monthly level, right? And now you're seeing we're starting to get some bullish action here, right? We'll see if we get this trend line break. If we get this trend line break, right, that could be some incentive for us to look at trade opportunities to the upside, right? We got a new D extension hit on the daily time frame, waiting on a swing low to form. On the 4 hour, we have shallow retracement 118, 127 zone hit into a monthly support level, right? Key levels coming into play here, right? So 80-20 scenario setting up on the 4 hour time frame. Then, right? So you guys follow me from the daily to the 4 before I continue moving. Miss Annette, you got a question?
Yes.
No question, mistake. Okay. So, right. So we got two things coming into alignment, right? Daily time frame, D extension hit, monthly support. 4 hour, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone coming in line with that monthly support, right? So now we go down to the 1 and we see this AB boundary, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone in conjunction with that monthly support, push, right? So we got 80-20 on the 4 hour and the 1 hour. We got B extension hit on the daily, all in conjunction with this monthly support level. This level could show as strong, okay? Could show as strong. Annette says she's in from last night. Beautiful, right? Definitely. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Now we're looking at this move here, okay? If this candle closes bullish above this trend line, right, could be an opportunity for us to enter this trade if you aren't in it already, right? But we got all of these things coming in conjunction at this level, right? And we'll see if we're able to get back to the 1 hour 38.2 or this 4 hour 38.2 here, depending on, again, how the Bank of Canada comes in tomorrow, okay? So this is one to keep your eyes on, and we could start to see this movement happening, right, and play out. And if the Bank of Canada, if the rate increase is already priced in, we could see this continue to press in favor of the euro, along with if oil continues to press to the downside, right? With Canadian dollar being tied to oil. Okay. So got a nice setup here, right? Wait for the confirmations that you need based on your rules, right? Swing low, trend line break on the time frame that you trade on. Once those rules are met, pull a trigger. Pull a trigger. If the rules are met, pull the trigger. Okay. But this is one definitely watch. Definitely watch. We're getting this bullish action now. I said if this candle closes above, I'm going to look to trade this to the upside here. I understand that we do have news coming in tomorrow. I'll keep my stop tight and we'll allow the trade to do what it's going to do. Any questions on this Euro CAD?
Okay,
Quick
so
question.
again, go ahead.
A quick question, Ryan.
Yes.
If we have a shallow retracement and then price break B boundary, but it doesn't reach 1.18 to 127, then you go deep retracement. Do we consider that 820 or we consider that as
Yes.
AB?
It's still considered an 80-20 setup. It just didn't fully reach that 118, 127 zone. Momentum died a little sooner, but it's still, we still consider it an 80-20 setup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We got to break of that B boundary to the downside after a shallow retracement.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. We had another question?
Yes. Okay, so I haven't gotten to the 80-20 section in the course yet, but just looking at where price is right now, if it breaks and closes above that trend line, then that low would be my A. And I'm just thinking in terms of how the fib could potentially look. Okay, and then where it closes would be, okay, the D would, I'm sort of getting confused there with the how you would draw your fibs here.
So here our fibs are coming from the top, right? We're running our fibs from the top to the bottom. Okay. So this is your AB boundary here. This is your A, this is your B. Okay. This is your A, this is your B. Right? We got a shallow retracement. So the 80-20 setup is you have a shallow retracement, anything less than 38.2%. And then price breaks the B boundary and pushes down. Most times, right, it literally comes out to close to 80%, it's like 79.5%. When you get a shallow retracement and price breaks the B boundary, pushes down, it'll come to this 118, 127 zone. And then you'll get price to reverse to give you then a deeper retracement. Okay, so this is your AB boundary. Then you'll get price to push up and give you a deeper retracement. So then we'll look for that deepest point in between the AB boundary to be our C. And then based on that retracement, then we'll look for our matching D extension.
Okay, got it.
This is your AB boundary here. And this is just a reversal opportunity that we've seen happen over and over and over again in the market. High probability setup, shallow retracement, less than 38.2, price press to the 118, 127 zone, and we're starting to see a reversal occur. It doesn't get to the D extension of the 1618, right? Stalls here in the zone, anywhere in between after the B boundary, before the 1618 extension, price will come, it'll stall, and then you'll get a trend line break, and then you'll get a reversal. So your AB boundary is here, AB. Now we're looking for the deepest point in between the AB boundary, which if this plays out, it'll give you a retracement here, like this. Get that trend line break, then we'll see price start to make its waves to the upside, right? So once this occurs, then we get the deepest point in between the AB boundary, right? And then if we get a reversal, then we'll start to see waves being made to the downside, headed to the matching D extension.
Okay, I think I got it. I was looking at it initially in terms of it was about to make a turn, but we're on the 4-hour and the overall direction is down.
Correct.
So
the overall direction is down. So you're in a down retracement zone.
Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you.
You got it. You got it. Great work. Great work. You're welcome. Any other questions here on this EuroCAD? No? All right, cool deal. I'll run a little tighter on time. Running a little tighter on time. Let's see. Didn't get to those New Zealand pairs like I wanted to, but take a look at this pound CAD, and then we will call it a wrap for the day. All right. So pound CAD, right? Daily time frame, AB boundary, shallow retracement, prices pressing down. Came to this daily level. We did break below, didn't quite get to the D extension yet, right? We could be headed there. So we could get another push to the D extension here in this monthly support before we get a reversal, but we're coming in close. So we'll want to monitor this as we continue to press to the downside here to see if we get to that D extension, or to see if we get a reversal and not get to the D extension and a push to the upside. Okay, so we'll monitor this level. This is a daily support level, right? We'll monitor this level to see if we push back above and start to make higher highs, depending on how the conversation goes tomorrow, right? Pound, not very strong, not ton of strength there. However, we could start to see a shift as these Canadian dollar pairs start to come into key levels. So we'll see. This one could keep us in limbo for a little bit. All right. So as we go to the 4, and we take a look at this, right? On the 4 hour, so AB boundary here. We didn't get that 38 to retracement, only 23.6%. We got a double top here at this weekly level. Then price broke to the downside, got to the D extension on the 4. Okay. Got to the D extension on the 4. Now we're starting to get some consolidation. So we'll need a swing low to form, right? For a new AB boundary. Okay. So we got a couple things again coming into conjunction, coming in together, right? At key levels. We're sitting at this daily level. We'll see if we stay below. We'll see if we push to this monthly level. If we push to the monthly level, that daily D extension will be hit as well, right? So we'll have 2 levels being hit daily 4 hour in conjunction with monthly support level or daily level, okay? So those are 2 things we'll continue to watch. We got our trend lines coming to the downside. So you want swing low, trend line break to give you an indication that price is starting to move in the other direction. All right. So we'll monitor this one here to see if we get one last push to the downside to get to that daily D extension. If we do, could be a nice setup at a monthly support level for potential reversal, similar to that EuroCAD. Okay. So we'll see. We'll continue to monitor because this one is going to be more based on the Canadian dollar opposed to the pound. Okay, so we'll continue to watch this to see if we get a reversal at any point and a break of this trend line to the upside. What we could see, just be aware, could see price push to that trend line and then give us another push down, okay, to get to this monthly support. If we do that, which I would really love that this daily D extension here, I'd love to see this level get hit first. And then give us some sort of reversal if it's going to give it. Okay, so I'll mark that level. I'll take it down to the lower time frames, and you see where that level comes in. Okay, so if we get another push to the downside, I'd love to see that happen, and then we'll see if we get a reversal out and a push higher. Okay, so that's the 4. That's what I'm looking for on this pound CAD. Okay, that's what I'm looking for on the pound CAD. Anybody got any questions on that? This is still a wait and see. But that's what I'm looking for. And that's what I want to be set up for in the event that we do get a reversal at some point. No questions there? Okay.
Oh, I think we're good.
Cool deal. So I didn't get to all the pairs that I wanted to. Took a little bit more time on the fundamental piece, which I think is important to understand as you're approaching the charts. So Any questions on anything that we covered this morning? No?
No, good start to the week.
Awesome, thank you. So we'll continue to watch these, right? Understand we got New Zealand rate statement coming in tonight. So take a look at your New Zealand pairs, right? Get those updated, marked up, understand where the key levels are, and continue to watch your Canadian dollar pairs as well, okay? Tonight, we'll take a look to see how things are setting up as Benny runs us through the Asian session at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Benny, you got anything before we close out, bro? I know you're still moving.
Nope. Great session, man. Good job on the fundamentals. Those are definitely very, 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 very important. And then also know too, right, with that New Zealand dollar, also oftentimes you'll see that the Aussie react to the news too. So
Yes, I forgot about that. Yep.
Yeah. So we'll make sure we run through quite a few pairs tonight. It's a nice session. So hopefully I can see, everybody there that can make it.
Yes, sir. All right, good people. Yeah, Marshall, definitely as you move through the wave sequence, definitely study the 80-20 setup. Don't jump ahead, but ensure that you're getting through everything in the order in which it's laid out. So, good people, appreciate you guys showing up this morning. Appreciate the engagement, right? Keep your eyes peeled. As you're doing the homework, post those charts in the Facebook group, and we can get you some feedback. All right. If there's nothing else, you guys have a phenomenal Tuesday. Again, if you missed Mindset Monday yesterday, hop back in, check it out, and get your work in on the challenge for this month. All right. Have an awesome day. We'll see you guys tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
You too. Thank you.
Have a good one. Thank you.
You're welcome.